Hello, everybody, and we are here in the winners bracket. Javier Dominguez versus D00MWake. Javier piloting trusty mono green Tron versus D00MWake's Rhinos, and they're just taking their mulligans. We'll get underway.
That is a world champions Tron opener, right?
Yep. You got the full Tron. You got some ways to cycle into what you need. You can have Sylvan Scrying if you find a green source to be able to go dig for Urza Saga or something. The thing is, though, you got to keep this hand. Obviously, it's a fantastic Tron hand, but it does lay into what I was talking about a moment ago. With Tron can fizzle out, right? If you keep this hand and you just draw nothing, like no.
Did you see that? The eighth card Gemstone Caverns on the draw.
Oh, you hate to see it.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was unbelievable.
You hate to see it. Oh no. Gemstone Caverns, definitely want that to be in your opening 7 on the 8th card. Yeah, that's a roughie. Fortunately, he's got 2 Lorien Revealeds to fix up his mana, but not really the hand you want to see, I think, for D00MWake here, right? You've got 2 Lorien Revealeds. That'll take some time to fix up your mana. You got Subtlety and Force of Negation to help out a little bit, but especially with that Tron on the other side, you don't have a lot of answers for action.
Yeah, so there's this Force of Negation, which is fine against the Karn the Great Creator, but a lot of the other threats it can actually just really flounder against, right? These are the Wormcoil engines and the Ulamags of the world, where what are you going to do? Subtlety and Ulamog? That sure doesn't feel good.
Well, speaking of subtlety and Ulamog, Javier has picked one up in his hand here, and he's searching for Urza's Tower away from being able to just cast it, get rid of the couple lands D00MWake might have, and steal away this first one, subtlety or no. But we'll see. We'll see if we can find the mana he needs there. And there's an Urza Saga.
And if you're on Javier's side, it's hard to even say what you're going to do here, but it looks like D00MWake has an idea. Boseiju during the draw step.
Yeah, just cut him off of Tron. He's like, I do not want him to hit natural Tron. If he has it, that would be very bad for me. And that's going to be pretty huge here. Now Javier's got to find the Tron pieces, another power plant to be able to kick back up to full mana capacity.
And those relics are subtly doing a lot to make this Murktide region a less potent threat.
Yeah, that's true. Now he's still gripping 2 Lorien Revealeds, so he can get his graveyard up a little bit further. But yeah, not exactly the turbo move it might be otherwise.
Right, and having to Boseiju this turn is a bit awkward because otherwise you get to play the cancel mode of Force of Negation, right? But Lorien Revealed in a lot of ways kind of feels like a tap land.
Yeah, Lorien Revealed been a huge player after coming out in the Lord of the Rings, but has not quite the card you want when you're having to use it as a tap land in Modern. Drawing another Crashing Footfalls there. We'll see another one suspended. Notably, you can't really see it here on the board, but D00MWake does have a Footfall suspended. He did that on the first turn. So in a turn or two, we'll see some Rhinos show up to play. Maybe that time he bought will be what he needs, but there's still that Oblivion Stone hanging out.
All right, Chromatic Sphere off the top to pair with a couple of Urza Sagas. Before we had talked about this Tron deck sort of maybe fizzling out, not drawing anything. Nothing but gas off the top so far, and redraws, admittedly, but that's the mix you want to see whenever you start with Tron in your opening hand.
Yeah, now we're at Tron is active. We've got Urza's Tower in their hand here. Next turn, we're going to be Ulamagan. Cannot say I love D00MWake's chances here. I mean, maybe there's a way he can pull it out of this one, but unless he draws an answer for the Tron, it is going to be a quick Ulamog here.
Right, and this is so tough. You can see Subtlety getting exiled to Force of Negation, and when looking at the opening hand, it kind of looked like that was the other disruptive piece that D00MWake had access to, but now he has to hold this Lorien Revealed to try and just slam a Murktide next turn and hope that this pressure is going to be good enough, and, we know if it'll be good enough, but unfortunately, you can fill in the blanks.
Yeah, 10-10, exile 2 permanents. Quick way to end the game. Murktide's gonna come down though. We'll get a big flyer off of it. All right, second Ulamog on the draw.
In order the injury, I only got insult in the back.
Still had all these Ulamogs. All right, so there Ulamog comes down, getting rid of the green source. Now we will see a couple of Rhinos this turn. 2 4/4s, smaller than Ulamog, but they exist, I guess is what I can say for them. Fire Ice, interesting card. You can use it to tap down Ulamog, buy a little bit of time, cantrip through, but the second Ulamog is going to see that buying time is not going to get the job done.
Inevitably
Yikes.
tapping this Ulamog with the ice for the opponent to only have the other Ulamog, that is just the peak Tron experience, right?
Yeah, Javier has been drawn all gas this time around. Yeah, so DooMWake trying to scrap by, tap that Ulamog. It's all gonna be okay. Actually, just kidding. Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. He's going for the one ring here. Totally reasonable. Deciding not to blow his Ulamog early, making sure that
Oh, a
he's
Worm
full
Coil
on
Engine
mana.
off the top. Why would you cast an Ulamog? Frankly.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, Worm Coil Engine also bigger than a 4/4 Rhino. And they, without even needing a second Ulamog, that's going to be a game one quickly locked up by Mono Green Tron and Javier Dominguez. You said it was a favorite match before we even got started, and that game certainly was not the best draw for Rhinos and an excellent draw for Tron, but certainly put on display why this is such a dangerous matchup.
Right. There's certainly a degree where, yeah, DooMWake got a little bit unlucky in some of those spots, but it's not like he was that far behind the 8 ball for a lot of it, right? In a lot of ways, we just saw Javier also not have Tron online until turn 4. DooMWake had to Visage you to knock it off, but it just didn't matter that much because there wasn't any pressure backing it up.
Yeah, now we're going to sideboarding here. We see that questing beast that you mentioned earlier come on in. Hopefully you draw the one of questing beast. Commandeer, a very funny card in the right situation. Take your Ulamog, take your Karn, what have you. Some Force of Vigors, of course, to deal with some of the nasty artifacts hanging out, or even maybe just do some early disruption if the draw ends up breaking that way. Meanwhile, on the Tron side, what are we seeing come on in here? Not a lot.
No, so couple of things here that are pretty funny. It's almost like if you average these two players sideboarding together, you get a normal amount of sideboarding, right?
Right.
Where one player has 12 cards to bring in and is doing something almost transformational. And on the other side, they're a kind of great creator deck. Maybe they're doing a little bit to sort of season to taste, but you're not really going to see the game plan change that fundamentally. A lot of the times where you see cards or Karn bullets get sideboarded in are whenever you expect your Karn the Great creators to be resolving less, and
Right.
whenever you just need cards that actually play to the battlefield more.
Right, so we see maybe a Haywire Mite coming in here, a Cityscape Leveler, Phyrexian Metamorph, the stuff you're not going to be searching for as much in this matchup, that are just, hey, awesome extra gas you can draw if you hit your Tron. Let's see if he does it again. Can he do it again? Hit that Tron early. We're going to find out. And opening hand, Karn Liberated, Oblivion Stone, couple Tron pieces, Chromatic Star. Not sure if you keep this one. We'll see if he decides to. Over on the other hand, out of the Rhinos deck, you do have that Shardless Agent, but without, I don't know, that's a pretty risky one to keep to me. We'll see though he's got if he keeps it.
So I think it's pretty interesting, and I'm fairly interested in keeping it. I always saw Murktide Regent get sideboarded out, but he might have ended up leaving it in. What you can do here is sort of use Ice as a pseudo time walk, tapping a Tron piece. And then we have Lorien revealed to hit another land. So it's possible that those into Shardless Agent with the Subtlety backup is just the formula for DooMWake. If you've got to get a little lucky anyway, I think this puts him in a good position. So I like the keep overall.
Yeah, they're sort of like the classic, look, if you think you're behind in a matchup, you got to keep a riskier hand because you have to hit, right? It's like, okay, if I draw perfectly, if I draw decently well, this hand's got a shot. You can't risk them all getting to 6 and going down a card. So we see Chromatic Star down there from Javier.
All right, there's the third land. So yeah, this is pretty close to how you draw it up if you're in DooMWake's seat, because now you can upkeep, tap the power plant, and turn off any sort of Sylvan Scrying turns that Javier might hope to have.
Right? Yeah, just buy a little bit of time, then you drop 2/4/4 Rhinos into play next turn. You've got Subtlety to back it up.
Oh, Questing Beast. Okay, that even turns off the One Ring as an avenue of interaction.
That is huge. And he drew Sylvan Scrying. That wild. After the ice came at the perfect time, would have been able to Sylvan Scry away for the last Tron piece, but now he's going to be delayed by a turn. Really, really nice play there. Nice keep, too, by DooMWake.
Yeah,
and here come the
Violent
Rhinos.
Outburst off the top. So there's a lot of pressure here. All of a sudden, Javier's really under the gun. This is what the games that Rhinos end up winning look like.
Yeah. All right, we're going to see the Sylvan Scrying fire off to find that tower. Next turn, you will have access to Tron. But
oh,
Yeah, that's a goodie for sure.
And this is why if you're playing Tron or you're newer to the deck, this is why you always want to get Urza's Tower last, because that means the third land you play or the untapped one is going to be tapping for 3 mana. That is so huge here.
Yeah, especially the difference between Bloomstone and not. But Force of Vigor off the top from D00MWake.
Oh, I think this is really sad. Oh no, because you don't have the 4th mana to hard cast it, and by the time you can pitch to cast it, Javier's untapped.
Oh, that's true,
Oh
right? It
my
is locked up, only
gosh.
being used on your opponent's turns. Oh no! The brief window of interaction available there.
Okay,
Now,
but admittedly, it's not like Javier's that far off of stabilizing,
well,
right?
also you can go end step Force of Vigor and then file an Outburst, right, to get 2 Rhinos again.
Right,
Um,
exactly. It really just shows how heads up it was to not suspend the crashing footfalls on one, to just have the
Yeah.
extra green card hanging out. In these post-board scenarios, thinking about those dynamics matters so much.
Green card in hand matters, and if he does that line of play and then draws land for Questing Beast, that will be lethal. Now we don't know if he's going to draw the land. We don't know if that's exactly how things are going to break down, but it is what could potentially happen here. All right, we're going. I think we're going to see a pass here from Javier. Yep, we're going to go into the end step, and that's where the action is going to happen. Here comes the Force of Vigor.
All right, business time.
Goodbye, Crashing Footfalls. Into the exile zone, not even suspended. We don't need you. Get rid of Oblivion Stone. We're going to see that cracked in response. Violent Outburst is going to happen after that resolves. And then we're going to see if he draws the land for Questing Beast. That will be lethal.
Lands and Violent Outburst and Fire, all lethal here.
Blood Moon and
Oh, that counts!
solid draw.
That counts.
That'll do the job. That will do the job. All fire from D00MWake's draws today. As someone on the other end of it recently, I can confirm fire draws.
Listen, I mean, this is kind of what Javier did game 1. Turnabout's fair play, even if it's not modern legal.
Yeah, turnabout is a perfectly good turn of phrase, and that'll do it. So bringing back in that Gemstone Caverns, being on the draw for the 4th game, or 3rd game, that makes sense. Otherwise, probably just some light touches here.
There's something that is different this game than the first game that's pretty interesting is we see a copy of the Stone Brain in Javier's main deck, where a lot of times you might think, oh, that card's good here. It takes the best card out of their deck, right? Their whole deck is built around this Crashing Footfalls. Karn can grab it. I want more copies. The problem is that the Cascaders come down the turn before Karn could do that a lot of the time. So just being able to slip it in on turn 2, especially when you see those sort of disruptive ice plays from D00MWake, is so important.
I think we're also going to see the difference between play and the draw here between game 2 and 3. Being on the play allowed him to do a little bit of tempo with ice, get in those Rhinos on time. But if the situation had been reversed, it would have been a lot tougher for him to take it down. Now sitting on the draw, he's got to keep an even tighter hand. Double Force of Negation, Shardless Agents. This is representing some counterspell backup, or I suppose counterspell protection for potentially a turn 3 Rhino turn.
Really interesting opening hand on Javier's side. So
yeah, for sure.
For anyone listening in, there's only one Tron piece. There's a Urza Saga. Then we have Map Sphere, Sylvan Scrying, like all the fix-ins. But Urza Saga is not something you want to play early.
All right, both players keeping their 7s. Now, Carmen, you were pretty aggressive in your game earlier against Javier, countering the cheap mana artifacts. Any chance you'd try and fire off a Force of Negation against a map or a Chromatic Sphere early?
I don't think so. The big reason I did it in the game that I played against Javier earlier was because he missed his 2nd land drop. And it was pretty greedy there, if I'm being completely honest, and I think wrong. But here I definitely wouldn't without that context.
All right, we're going to see him crack it and go for a probably Sylvan Scrying. Yep, here we go. Sylvan Scrying away.
Oh, wow. Oh, Force of Vigor can just destroy Urza's Saga. It might even have... I guess we couldn't Force of Vigor because we don't want to discard Shardless Agent. That makes sense.
All right, well, here's this. And drawing the Violent Outburst is actually pretty huge because it means you can land Cycle Lorien Revealed and still be able to Force of Negation something by keeping the Shardless Agent in your hand. So it gives you a little more optionality as to how the next turn goes.
And this is a lot of utility that gold cards give you in Modern right now that's really just undersold. We see the Shardless Agent able to work with either of the MH1 forces in this context, and either could be strong.
The power of having 2 colors. That's all we're looking for here. Temporal Spring also gets the job done. Just need 2 colors on your card.
Listen, this is just like old Legends cards. Counts as blue and white card.
Yes, exactly. Give me, I don't know,
Whoa.
Rasputin Dreamweaver.
This is the best Force of Vigor in history.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, there's no additional land. That Force of Vigor is going to be brutal. There's the Expedition map, but that Force of Vigor is going to...
Oh, I
really
wonder if
surprise
he actually just destroys both Expedition maps.
Right, because the Urza Saga is going to fade away naturally on the next turn. So that
Yeah.
you do that, you put him in a really tough spot.
Oh my god.
All right, yeah, there we go. We're firing this thing off. And this is the other side of Tron, right? We saw an incredible draw by Javier in the first game, but this is what happens sometimes. All right, so we do get that Urza Saga, just leaving that map in play for later. But here comes the Shardless Agent presenting 10 points of power on the board. And Javier's going to have to answer 10 points of power very, very, very quickly, which his current hand is not equipped to do. He can dismember one of them, maybe, but Urza Saga, that is not going to help him assemble Tron.
Okay, so theoretically, this Dismember can change the clock, which is relevant. I like this Sorcery Speed Dismember because that means Force of Negation can't hit it after DoomWake untaps. Oh no, how brutal! Force of Vigor off the top?
And I think that is going to be curtains for our friend Javier Dominguez. Holy moly.
Oh my gosh.
And there it is. Wow, Rhinos comes back in a tough matchup to take it.